The missing persons case of Tina and Bethany Sinclair. February 2nd, 2001. 34-year-old Tina Sinclair was an at-home nurse, and her 15-year-old daughter Bethany was a freshman at Keene High School. They were living in the Chesterfield home with Tina's boyfriend, Eugene von Bowman. On February 3rd, 2001, Bethany had made a date with her boyfriend. That evening at 11:30 p.m., they spoke on the phone about their plans for Valentine's Day. This was the last time anyone heard from her. The next day, Bowman claimed that he and Tina had an argument. He stormed out and left the residence. Bowman returned later that evening and claimed that they were already gone. The only person that had any information about Tina and Bethany's disappearances was Bowman,
whom we are just supposed to believe, I guess.
In an interview with police, Bowman stated that the two of them had packed a bag with their clothes and left sometime after the altercation. They left all of their personal belongings, their cat, and Tina's white Dodge Neon. When the police asked Bowman why he hadn't reported the girls missing, he told them that he assumed that they were just going away for a few days until Tina cooled down. On February 5th, an unidentified woman called Bethany's school to let them know that Bethany was sick and would not be attending class. While the police could not identify who the woman was, in 2011, family members told WMUR that they knew who made the phone call, but couldn't reveal who she was because of an ongoing investigation. As Bethany's absence continued, school officials became concerned and contacted the authorities. Tina and Bethany were reported missing on February 10, 2001. According to reports, Bowman was last seen on his scat hovercraft on the Connecticut River at 4:30 a.m. on the morning of February 4th. An extensive search was conducted on land and water to uncover any clues, but nothing was found. There were also search warrants for the residence, but the results, along with the rest of the files pertaining to the investigation, were sealed. Sharon Gary, Tina's sister, showed concern for Bethany's safety after learning that Bowman had been charged with molesting his 8-year-old daughter in the 90s. After the Sinclair's disappearance, he pled guilty to the charges against him and was sentenced 2 to 15 years in prison. He was released on parole October 2003.
Sharon was aware of the situation between Tina and Bowman and talked to Bethany about coming to stay with her in Connecticut.
Police reports state that officers had been called to the Bowman residence many times for domestic disputes, but neither Bowman nor Tina had been arrested. When Sharon tried to talk to Tina about her concerns, Tina got angry and told her sister that she could handle the situation and get them out herself. The two haven't spoken since. There has been no activity on Tina's bank cards or cell phones since the two have gone missing. Tina also never cashed her last payroll check. No activity on their social security numbers, and despite being close with family, neither one has tried to contact loved ones. Officials say that Bowman has refused to cooperate with the investigation. Even though he has not been named a suspect, he is considered a person of interest. Gary, with the help of investigators, organized several searches over the years. As police and volunteers worked side by side looking for any sign of Tina and Bethany, they searched the Bowman property, the Connecticut River, Pisgah State Park, and other locations using helicopters, divers, and cadaver dogs. No solid evidence was ever uncovered. The Bowman property was since sold to another owner, who demolished the house. Gary eventually hired Gil Alba, a private investigator who had previously worked on several prominent missing persons cases. His team, which includes FBI agent Robert Booth and retired police chief Tom Shamshank, have offered their services free of charge.
Did they take off? Did they commit suicide? Those are the first things I look at, Alba said in a recent interview.
After talking to everybody, I had the feeling that they didn't just run away, and that they would have contacted family if they had. They didn't take anything with them, so I'm of the belief that something did happen to them. Like police, Alba identified Bowman as the only person of interest, but never interviewed him. I didn't see anyone else that would be a person of interest, so he is basically the only one, Alba said. But there is no DNA evidence because there are no bodies, so there is no real evidence against him, except maybe circumstantial. The burden of proof. Gary stands firm in her belief of Bowman's guilt, but for authorities, it's not that easy. Detectives believe that Bethany and Tina met with foul play and have uploaded their dental records and other identifying information to the national database, should their remains be found. The investigation remains active, with efforts being led by the New Hampshire State Police Cold Case Unit and the state's Attorney General's Office. Memorials for Tina and Bethany appear on Mountain Road off Route 9 in West Chesterfield. Tina Marie Sinclair, who went by T for short, went missing from West Chesterfield, Cheshire County, New Hampshire on February 4, 2001. She was 34 years old, weighed 120 pounds, and stood 5 foot 2 inches tall. She had light brown to strawberry blonde hair, green eyes, and a vertical surgical scar extending down from her belly button, and a butterfly tattoo on her right ankle. Her ears were double pierced, and at the time her fingernails were long and well manicured. Bethany Ann, or Beth Sinclair, was 15 years old, weighed between 120 and 135 pounds, and stood somewhere between 5 foot 2 and 5 foot 7 inches tall. She had brown hair, green eyes, and a U-shaped scar on her forehead. Her legs and hips were out of alignment, resulting in her knees being turned inward, and she wore glasses. It's possible that she was wearing a necklace with a crucifix pendant at the time of her disappearance. Currently, both cases are classified as endangered missing. If alive, Tina would be 55 years old and Bethany would be 36. Anyone with any information about either case are asked to contact New Hampshire State Police at 603-223-3856 or the agency's Cold Case Unit at either 603-223-8570 or 603-271-1255. For most of their family, hope of finding the Sinclairs alive has faded. Instead, they wish that one day they'll be able to bury the mother and daughter, and, if they were murdered, that justice will be served. Thanks so much for watching my video. Be sure to subscribe to Ride Around with me and hear more missing persons cases. Here's 2 more videos to check out in case you missed them.